We do have a rifle company on deck right now that is training. They're finishing their final raid is tonight as they're learning their boat package. They've been training here for about 6 weeks now to learn to be coxswains, mechanics, over-the-horizon navigators, and their final mission is actually going tonight to do a small boat raid off the coast here. So they're very excited to have you here as well and hear from basically the individuals that set the standards that they're trying to learn right now. So thank you very much for deciding to spend your reunion with us. We're very happy to have you, and I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Army nurses, and they had some interesting stories about the Marines. Apparently, nobody could find anyone to volunteer to string telephone wire up in the trees because the snipers would shoot at you. Well, all of a sudden, there's about 10 Marines volunteering to string wire up in the trees, and they didn't know why, but they thought, well, what the hell? Go great. Well, it turns out the Seabees had just constructed a shower for the Army nurses, and it didn't have a roof on it. They all have binoculars. They're up there now. They didn't risk their life for a chance. They weren't going to risk it for telephone wire, but the chance of seeing a naked Army nurse was worth dying for these guys. And then the Seabees were constructing a latrine for the Army nurses. You know, nice brick latrine, brand new. And so the Marines and the Seabees have always been pretty tight. The Seabees always fed the Marines when the Army, well, the Army wouldn't. The Army fed them indirectly by letting them steal all their food. Well, it wasn't called stealing. It was called gung-hoing back then. Borrowing, whatever you call it. But what do you call it? Tactically acquiring. There you go. Tactical acquisition. I love that. All right. So they built this latrine and they talked the Seabees into putting an audio speaker down in the hole. And then they ran the wire out and they had a transmitter outside the barbed wire fence there. So the Army she's a colonel of the nurses, and she goes goes in for the very first visit, and they give her a minute to get settled, and then from down underneath her in the hole, she hears this male voice saying, "Hey lady, will you come back in a half an hour? I'm not finished painting this one yet." She bolts out of there faster than shit through a goose, and there's 50 Marines rolling around the mud, laughing their butt off at this poor colonel. But what I thought was interesting about the nurses in these stories is that even in the middle of this god-awful place, I mean, this was just hell on earth, they still kept their sense of humor. They still were able to have fun and to laugh and find a way to make the best of it. And I think that's a testament to the American spirit, that they can still laugh and have fun even though they've lost all their friends, and it's a tough place to be. They still had a way to they found a way to have fun, and they found a way to steal from the Army. Now, Dad doesn't like being in combat with the Army because the Marines are up here and the Army's taking their way back here. That leaves the Marines' flank exposed. So they didn't like fighting with the Army, but they loved being next to them in base camp because then they could always get enough food, because they could always get a couple of Marines to talk to the sergeant, distract them. The other Marines would come from the back way and steal all their food. I don't know if they teach that in boot camp, or that's just I mean, the officers probably don't like me telling them, but
That's the way they stole the organ off the base.
yeah, Father Redmond he's a Catholic priest in the Raiders, and he wanted a piano or an organ for his church services. Well, he went up and distracted the Navy captain and kept him occupied while the Marines stole the piano, loaded it over the side of the ship, and took it off the shore. And so then he covered it up with a big canvas so that it looked like it was part of the altar. But then on church service, he'd take it out and play it. And then, of course, apparently the captain went up to the chain of command and got the orders came down that piano better show up on that ship pretty soon. And so Father Redmond had to give up his piano. But Dad here on Okinawa, they were setting in their guns and getting ready for the evening, and he hears a bunch of yelling and shooting, and so he sends a squad of guys, we better see what's going on, and somebody's yelling for help, and so he's coming down the bush, and this guy's getting more and more frustrated. He starts swearing at him, "Hurry up," swearing his fool head off, and Dad's swearing back at him. "Well, we're coming as fast as we can," and he's swearing at him, and they had to go take out the Jap machine gun first that was in the area that was shooting at this guy. He was down in a little ditch or depression area. They get up to him. Who's in the ditch? Father Redmond. And so my dad hadn't seen him, and Father Redmond lived in California on his 90th birthday. Dad went to the birthday party, and he said, "Father, I'm Mil Hecht, and we met once on Okinawa, and I promised that if you don't swear at me, I won't swear at you on your 90th birthday." And he remembered it. He remembered the deal, and of course he promised that he'd never sworn at another priest since then, so he was hoping that Father Redmond would forgive him. But this Father Redmond was just a class act. He'd invite people over to talk to him, and there was all these people coming to confession, and he couldn't figure out why the number of people coming to confession had just escalated by 40%. And he thought, what's going on? He's talking to the chaplains and the Jewish rabbis. What's going on? Why is the level of sinning going up so high? What happened that all these sinners are coming into confession? And they turn and ask us, well, tell me how you deal with this. When you come in, what do you do? Well, they sit down and then I offer them a cold beer, and then wait a minute, try not offering them a cold beer. Well, naturally the level of sinning went way back down to normal levels. So it was the father hadn't figured that out, that the Greeks liked the cold beer. So they were coming.
C, 1D, Gambon, Albert A, 1B, HQ, Garcia, Max J, 1HQB. Golden, Clyde R, 3HQDM. Gagan, partner, Donald W, 1D. Geis, Lloyd C, 28HQ. Gentry, Harriet, 2HQ, 2G, 4HQ. George, Martin N, 4E, DHQ.
operational and strategic effects during a time of great national crisis. You received unique training and equipment to perform the most challenging missions in remote, ambiguous, and complex environments with little or no support. The MARSOC of today are no different. They possess the discipline, values, intellect, and mental agility to frame the dynamics of a given environment and incrementally apply the tools of their trade to win the war before it starts. The Raiders were the first Marines to succeed in special operations, and the Marines and sailors of MARSOC are woven from that common cloth. In just 5 years, MARSOC has carved a secure niche as an expeditionary special operations force. Our most significant contributions to national security are often unquantifiable and unspoken. These silent professionals are always faithful to the core, Marines first, and always eager to take the fight to the enemy to achieve that silent success. We pride ourselves in serving our country as scholars and practitioners of the profession of arms. We are and will always be consummate professionals, knowing we are representatives of the Marine Corps, Special Operations Forces, and most profoundly, as citizens of the United States of America. We owe you Raiders a lot. We trace our lineage and our heritage from the Raider Nation, a proud, heroic, and extremely successful Special Operations Force. Thank you for all you have done. On behalf of our nation, thank you for your selfless service and your sacrifice. And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. I am truly humbled to be in the presence of giants. God bless you, and Semper Fidelis. Thank you.
I'm going to award his plaque tonight for his service, but I'm also going to award your plaque for your service. So if you come up here, we'll take care of that. Of course, we've seen these before, but I don't know if I could give these, if I could give 2 of these every time to such wonderful people. I'd do this every day. It's certainly an honor. She is our Girl Friday, and she's certainly the one that keeps me straight, along with many of you out there too. So I'd like to award this to you in your name of Jack and Florence Flo Dorn.
This memento right here that will be dedicated to our battalion will do so much for the warfighters that are heading down range. We've already been there multiple times, and we will be heading down there very soon. Right now in our battalion, we have a lot of memorabilia, but it's only just a couple years old because our lineage only dates back 5 years now, unless we adopt the Marine Raider heritage like we're trying to. We all believe that we are your direct descendants. So for this to be hanging in our battalion will do so much for those warfighters that it is the rightful place for this banner to be hanging. I mean, there's no better place.
General, sir, I seen you rubbing this coming up. We'll have to find a way to get you one, not as ragged as this, but we'll find a way to get you one. We'll personally take care of it.
Good job, Gunny.
One thing that we might want to do is if we have a Sharpie laying around, all the Marine Raiders that are here, if you'd like to sign off the stars, you could do that, or off the white, anywhere they might want to sign it. If you want to sign it before they take it, then that's the way. At least I won't have to take it back home another time. It'll be going home. So, thank you.